Oh my gosh, guys, season 2 of Zoey is not what I expected. Not in a negative way. It definitely is better than season 1, I'll tell you that. But it goes crazy with appearances by Jeanette McCurdy and covers incredibly topical things that I never realized, like free speech and addressing gender. So it's time to get ranking them. I want to show you guys my recommendations from Zoey Season 2, worst to best episodes. And you're not going to believe what I chose for number 1, and you're probably going to get mad, but I don't care. So the last episode on this list, if you've seen my retrospective, not a surprise, it's Quinns Alpaca. This episode just feels like not a lot happens, and even though Quinn is such a quirky and fun character, it feels like this plot is just not even interesting to me. Like, it's the girls kind of doing a good deed for her, but not for any particular reason, because, like, they bullied her in another episode. I would assume that was a big enough reason to make it up to her. But I guess in this episode, it's just about these girls bringing Quinn a present and then her running away after it. Like, it gets a little interesting, but it still feels like it doesn't go there. It's a failed attempt to make Zoey seem like she's a good person and actually willing to put in work to do something for somebody else, but trust me, it's very few and far between that this happens, and I can see right through this facade. I wouldn't put it so low on the list if we didn't have Quinn's date in the first season. It was just her standalone episode, and it was so much better than this, and you're trying to tell me that you went an entire season with this character and made a worse single episode with her? I mean, I get the insight on her is nice, but you could have done better. Putting that at number 12. Number 11, we have the Robot Wars. See, I didn't really like this a lot because I feel like the portrayal of engineers or people into scientific things are more jerks than nerds, and there's like no positive sides to them. Is kind of offensive to me. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it is still like, I didn't really fall for the plot, and I couldn't stop thinking about it the whole episode. I do think that one character that was trying to strike a deal with Zoey to go on a date with Nicole was funny, but like, you can't watch an entire episode of a show just to expect one funny scene. Like, it just felt like there was a little too much plot going on. The things they said about Quinn that made her want to quit the competition were a little bit too far, and I don't know if I would forgive Friends for doing that. So because of that, I feel like this one's gonna have to be number 11. Then we have number 10, Haunted House. So this is one of my least favorite Halloween episodes of television. Like, it's really funny that we get to have Zoey tricking Logan and that whole back and forth with Dustin and his friends too, inevitably culminating in like a horror styled episode, was a really cool idea, and painting it that way was good. I just really don't think it was that funny. I think a lot of other shows can take a Halloween concept and be more interesting with it. Like, I would have loved to see... It's definitely Mark Del Figolo's best episode, which I was excited about because he's just so funny in this. And Quinn's side plot was the funniest part. And just the fact that that's like a B and C plot, it just is no excuse. Like, this episode doesn't get a good review from me. Sorry, America. Then number 9, slightly better but still a little bit lower on the list, we have Spring Breakup. Now, why is Spring Breakup so low on the list? Probably because it felt like it wasn't living up to its full potential. Like, it could have been this episode combining reality TV, Chase and Zoey's romance, and taking everything a step forward before we get onto the 3rd season of this show. However, we kind of lose the reality show when we focus on Chase and Zoey. And the reality show doesn't necessarily have stakes that matter to any of the characters involved. Like, it could have been Zoey and Chase in any scenario. So the fact it's reality TV on a spring break, it just doesn't serve the plot or make it 100% necessary. The introduction of the tech mates is definitely important though, because that's one of the staples of this show to date. But for being 2 parts and keeping us watching, it just reminded me that, like, it's not the structure of a sitcom anymore. It's like a drama, and I don't like it. I mean, I like the part where we think that Chase told Zoey he likes her, but I feel like it didn't build to anything super big. And despite the character development and the twist at the end, which makes it a little bit higher on this list, I just think Spring Breakup was just all around a misfire. But not a bad episode at all. Then we have Back to PCA. So this is the first of the season. It felt weird to categorize this because it's like, it's the first time they're jumping into this new season. Like, they had to clearly think about it. But not being a different production order from its air date, was awesome, so it was the first of the season. If you want to know more about productions and air dates, you could check out my video. And Lola was probably the most interesting part, but the fact that they had to set up an entirely new character instead of just taking Dana away, like you guys had Quinn, you had so many characters already, did you have to replace her? I mean, I guess you did, because Lola is definitely one of the best characters in the show. Like, having her come in as this, like, seemingly really distant person, but end up being just an actress is really funny, and it definitely keeps me invested in her character. It was smart to devote an entire episode and its A-plot to introducing her, so it's definitely up higher on the list. The next is Election at number 7. So we're getting up higher on the list, but this one is, I would say, is the last, like, negative episode where I didn't love most of what was going on, just because it was, like, very generic and basic for the election plot, and I feel like Zack and Cody did it better recently, Jimmy Neutron did it as well, and while they all carry, like, so many similarities to each other, like, literally, they all have a scene where the character is defaming the other character in order to win the election at school. This one was definitely, like, one of the weaker ones I've seen. Now, not that it's not funny that Chase and Zoey get in a huge argument to a point where Zoey actually confronts him in the boys' locker room. One of my favorite parts of this whole series, though, I will admit. It just wasn't worth it all around. Like, I had more fun watching them fight over the roof of one of the dorms. So it's gonna go a little bit lower on the list. But in the top 6, we have Bad Girl, Jeanette McCurdy's star debut episode. And I swear, it feels exactly like the same character as Sam Puckett. Like, you could have just had that be the name and be a prelude to iCarly, especially since you see a lot of iCarly in the background screens of Zoey's computer. But her character was just so interesting, and having it be like a better version of defending Dustin from season 1, where Dustin was getting bullied and had to learn to stand up for himself, this one has him trying to date a girl, which is so different, and we get to see a whole new side of his character, aside from just being smart and just a spazzy kid running around all the time. Just seeing him try to fight Chase, and how Zoey gets so involved in the relationship, it's just such a interesting episode, and I love that Jeanette McCurdy is the guest star, because it just makes it a lot funnier. She is so convincing. The age gap conversation is incredibly early for its time. I don't really think a lot of shows were talking about stuff like that. I don't even think we talk about it now. But it added an extra layer to the gender issues that most of these episodes consist of, taking it a lot further than before. So yeah, that one's gonna go number 6 for me. Number 5, I got Lola Likes Chase. This one was cool because you didn't see this coming. I wonder if Dana inevitably went to the second season, if that character would have been the one to like Chase. I mean, that would have felt like further of a stretch. But is it good because it's the fact it's Tori Vega? I hope so. I feel like she is such a good actress, and seeing that she has a crush on Chase just makes so much sense, and they low-key have a little bit of chemistry together. I'm ultimately glad it didn't work out and become like a recurring relationship like it inevitably did with Trina from Victorious. Wait a minute, sisters? Trina Vega and Tori Vega both date Chase. Or not date, I guess they like him. Either way, it was a twist of an episode, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Zoey 101 this season is getting a lot better. The rest of this list is just all me giving compliments, as opposed to the last one, where I was just trashing the first season, and I know, I wasn't really being fair, but whatever. It's just my opinion, and everyone is gonna change. Anyway, so this is at number 4 for me because I just like the concept of doing the people auction. Like, it's very rarely done on sitcoms, and when it is, it's good. Like, Zoey 101 did it, like Hannah Montana did it, selling a date with Hannah Montana, Johnny, and Rico, if you guys can remember. But in Zoey 101, she's doing it for a different reason. It's like, that's the kind of center of the whole episode, and it's about them trying to raise money to save the sushi place. And despite those blatantly racist jokes throughout the episode, I think this concept was very original. It's definitely something that can only really happen on a campus like PCA. As a kid, not seeing that kind of stuff in action, because I wasn't really connected to the adult world, or like nonprofits that actually would do auctions like this. So it was kind of interesting for me. All around, like, with Chase falling down the stairs and he being the reason that Sushi Rocks catches on fire, it's a fun watch. Then number 3, we have Broadcast Views, which I like to call the free speech episode. Yeah, the episode where where Zoey and Logan go at each other for men versus women's issues, and it is so funny. It's exactly what the show set out to do from the beginning, is be a commentary on how guys and girls treat each other, and they do a great job at showing that through being a funny episode, giving the characters all a little bit of learning experience by the end of this. It just wasn't only a comedic episode, it was also a dramatic episode. It was definitely one I would recommend if somebody hadn't seen Zoey 101, and I think would complement it. I feel like it definitely sets the tone for what the show is going for. And only because it's historical, number 2 is going to go to Time Capsule. Not only are people doing YouTube reviews on it till this day, but 10 years ago they obviously had that follow-up to the episode. And it being 20 years since the episode came out is just crazy to me that we're still talking about it. Like, if you told me at that age that this would be brought up 20 years later in my life, I would think you were insane. And actually, I think I'm insane sometimes for even doing it. But this episode just had a footprint on our culture, at least when I was in middle school. What about it were we so emotionally connected to? The idea that you couldn't see something for 20 years, or that somebody could hide a secret and commit to it for 20 years. I don't know. It's a scary conversation to have. But the fact that no other sitcom did a time capsule episode, like, why didn't Hannah Montana, Ned's Declassified, like, Sweet Life, like, so many shows could have done this, but Zoey 101 did it. They made it about Chase's obsession with Zoey and kind of make a conscious decision not to be a weirdo and stalk her, with also not going super far. All around one of the best episodes of the show in general, and it goes up high on this list because of its placement, of course. And at number 1, we have my personal favorite, Girls Will Be Boys. The one where they get Lola to dress up like a boy and live with Chase and Michael. And yeah, it's as weird as you remember it to be. It's Victoria Justice as Tori Vega, as Lola, as a guy named Steve, and it's literally just Lola in makeup to look like a guy, and even wears something under his shirt to keep the body autonomy of a guy. It's just so funny how far they go with the jokes in this, and I cannot believe they played this on teen television, especially when they did. But I mean, I think that's why it goes as number 1, because that secretly is really appealing to me, that it was so risky of an episode that I'm questioning it till this day. And you gotta put your favorite episode at the top of these lists, because of course that has some merit to it. While I don't think it's objectively as culturally impactful as Time Capsule, I deserve to have my opinion out there. And this one was the most fun I had with that show. I like the stakes of them betting the tops of their roofs and be like kind of a revenge episode. It was just cool. But yeah, so that's how I felt about Zoey 101 Season 2. I was overall super surprised at how many improvements this show went through, as I have really negative memories with the 3rd and 4th season. I guess I didn't have as much with this season. Now, next when I cover Season 3, do you think it might go better or worse? Leave your comments below, because I'm sure you guys will remember it better than me. I'm scared to get into it again. Yeah, but overall, Season 2, I would say, is the peak season of Zoey 101. Maybe the best season. This really solidified everything that worked with the show, and also gave us some comedic beats, and a little bit of character development, and just enough of Chase and Zoey's relationship to keep us waiting too long. Like, this is right before it got ridiculous. As the last short season of Zoey 101 ends, we move on to Season 3. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day!